Good evening. Welcome to the Pearl Report. I'm Diana Lin. What is it like to suddenly lose your eyesight due to a disease or an accident? Producer Sylvia Yu learns of the challenges confronting the newly visually impaired and what they can do to regain independence.
Yu, age 53, worked for more than 30 years as an obstetrics nurse at Queen Mary Hospital.
I'm an active and a very busy person.
Then last June,
I had a severe headache and I rushed back to the hospital.
She had surgery to remove a brain tumor in her pituitary gland.
I lost my eyesight. After surgery, I can only see a little bit of color. No shadow at all. I can't see anything. The doctor said, you won't be worse. There may be recovery, but how much you can recover, nobody knows. At that time, I feel very, very sad. A lot of worry, fear, and there's a lot of uncertainties.
Now she can see
shadows. I can see your figure. But sometimes it's difficult to know you are a woman or a man. It's difficult. Yeah, I can't see the facial features.
She's considered legally blind with 5% vision among Hong Kong's 120,000 visually impaired people, or 1.8% of the population. 11,000 are legally blind. 95% are due to a medical condition.
Like brain tumor pressing on an important visual pathway, it can end up in blindness. Sports injury, industrial injury, usually retinal detachment just happen out of the blue. Some people have more risk factors, like they are very short-sighted, they have family history of retinal detachment, they had diabetes. Most of the eye diseases are treatable and reversible if it's detected early.
Patsy had no symptoms before she developed a headache. It lasted 2 days. Then she lost her sight.
Because I lost control of myself. I can't do what I want. Even very simple, small things, I almost cry every day.
Often you can almost see a parallel of the bereavement process. Sort of a denial, not accepting, or may become quite angry, and then the stage of negotiating. The important thing is for people to understand the adjustment, the bereavement does take time.
After surgery, Patsy was sent home.
There's no advice or any rehabilitation program for me, so I have to work on my own.
With the help of her husband, Peter.
I only thought of how to help her recover her vision, so I gave her what I thought were suitable exercises.
Like practicing reading.
Before Patsy lost her sight, she was a very capable person. She took care of everything at home, including mother, the children, me. After what happened, I take care of her.
And their 2 sons. Every day she washes and cuts the vegetables. Peter does the actual cooking.
My guitar.
In the first few months after surgery, Patsy wanted to return to work.
Then my boss said, Patsy, be realistic. There is no permanent job that is suitable for you. So it suggested me to apply for early retirement. A very independent person becomes so dependent. So I already depressed. I don't know whether I could be recovered. Feel sad and heartbroken.
Even though the people lost the sight, they have some working abilities. But the society do not offer them job. There must be a policy change. For example, quota system to require the big company or organization have to employ at least 2% of disabled.
For the visually impaired, the Social Welfare Department gave about $106 million for this fiscal year to the Hong Kong Society of the Blind for services including home training and rehabilitation. That covers 55% of expenses. The rest are from private donations.
We don't have additional funding from the government for more than 20 years. It is high time that the government should think about giving us more resources to help people who are in need.
But the SWD says there was more than 20% growth in the allocation over the past 4 years to the Society of the Blind. 200 newly blind people are on the Society's waiting list to be trained to live independently.
This is no good because they need training immediately. It is quite a burden to the family if people stay alone without any help.
What do you think is a difficulty in your daily life after you lose the eyesight?
For example, to buy something, say to buy some bread, but I can't now. I need to depend on my husband.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a burden to him.
Patsy didn't know services were available to help her. Then 6 months after her surgery, Patsy was referred by a friend to the Hong Kong Federation of the Blind to work with Monica, a social worker, and Helen, a visually impaired trainer. Patsy began her training a month later.
We teach the Patsy some independent living skills.
First, we teach her self-protection aimed at preventing injury when she goes out or stays home.
Helen, aged 49, lost her sight 19 years ago.
I think the biggest challenges newly visually impaired people have are psychological stress and a lack of skills like going out, cooking, survival skills, and a lack of confidence.
She told me try to go out more. If you learn to use the walking stick better, you can go out yourself.
To go to the traffic lights, because with no tactile guide path, better keep to the wall. After becoming a trainer, I'm going out more often. My confidence is boosted. Being able to teach the students how to cope with life and go out, I feel a sense of achievement.
They think they are not useless. They can make use of their own experience to help the people in similar situations.
In the future, if I'm getting better, I hope I can help the other friends like me. Maybe go out and meet them and telling them my way of recovery, how I adjust to my new life.
The benefits of peer trainer includes, like, for example, to be more empathetic and also able to give very practical, workable strategies, making suggestions about resources.
Like accessing free Kung Fu classes.
Kung Fu mainly boosts their self-confidence. Practicing Kung Fu makes them feel better about their bodies, so they won't lose their balance so easily.
I do have more confidence after learning Kung Fu because I found myself stronger, healthier, and that my balance is better than before.
Much more confidence. We won't trip when walking.
Tang Kwangpo, age 53, ran a wet market meat stall in Wan Chai for 30 years. In March 2002, he had an operation to remove a tumor on his forehead and became visually impaired.
Before, I was the family's breadwinner and boss of this meat store. I alone pay all the household and other expenses. When I lost my eyesight, I lost my job. It was very hard to bear. It drove me crazy.
To pay the bills, Kwangpo had to sell his flat and move with his wife and 2 sons into a public rental flat in Chaiwan. For 2 years, he rarely ventured out.
My wife goes to work. If she was free, she bought me a takeaway meal. If she wasn't free, she told me to heat the leftovers in the fridge and eat it. I only ate, slept and sat. I sat from morning to night. Because I was afraid of meeting my friends outside, I felt very ashamed that I can't see.
Within the Chinese tradition, we view that people with visual impairment is a curse from some kind of wrongdoing from their former life. It sometimes results in, well, I better keep myself away and I don't want to have anything to do with the person.
Self-pity is a common situation of the people facing lost the sight suddenly. They're confused about their life. They don't want it to be a burden of their family.
Kwangpo sought training from an NGO to become more independent.
When we boil water or tea at home, we need to first feel with our hand where the stove is. Then we light the stove. To test if the fire is on, we use the back of our hand. After learning household safety rules, I can be independent and cook for myself. And go out by myself.
With his stick, he tries to follow tactile guide paths.
You can sometimes go in the wrong direction and not know where you've ended up. Then you ask and see if anyone can take you to the minibus stop.
There's also this smartphone with a voice calling app which helps me.
Kwangpo volunteers to co-host an online show teaching young people how to cook simple meals.
This program aims at teaching youngsters how to cook, because nowadays they don't really know how to do so. It's like contributing to society.
Kwangpo is inspiring people because normally we think of the blind people, they can't cook, they cannot cook, because when they hold the knife, they will cut their fingers. Our shows is real time. People can see that he know how to hold the knife in a proper way, cut the meat.
I'm much more cheerful after joining these activities. No more locking myself in at home and not going out.
Coming up, the power of love.
Keeps encouraging and supporting me so I could overcome many obstacles.
And in the eyes of the beholder,
Equal treatment.
more on that when we return. Stay with us.